Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Nilah supplementary guide on the jungle. So the jungle build is a little bit different compared to the ADC build. Now of course I'll be doing a guide on the ADC build when, when I have a gameplay and when I actually play her in the ADC role, because there's so many interesting champions to play in the ADC role right now. I don't think I'm in a big hurry to play Nilah, but we'll see. Tryndamere, Yasuo, Yone are really popular right now, so we might have a match where Nilah is going to be optimal. But let's stop talking about that and let's start talking about her build, runes, and spells. So for the jungle, I think it's a little bit different, right? So first off, you want to start off with the Boots of Dynamism for the armor pen, right? Because in the jungle, Gluttonous Greaves is useful and all, but you have Bloodthirster already, so you don't really need all that much physical vamp. I mean, it's fine, right? You get physical vamp from your passive, you get physical vamp from Bloodthirster, so I like to go for that burst damage on the Boots of Dynamism, and then going to Bloodthirster first item, right? So I think that if you want to build Bloodthirster in your build, you generally have to build it as first item. It's just so OP as the first item, giving you that extra shield, giving you that huge amount of AD, giving you that physical vamp. It's just, all the good stuff, right? Everything you will want. Right, so with the jungle, once again, you don't need to go for Navori Quick Blades. You can actually go for Collector for the snowball potential, for the damage, and for those nice ganks, right? Collector, giving you armor pen as well as crit, and giving you that little bit of execute threshold, right? Then you go for IE and more reminder, the usual crit combo for extra damage, armor pen, and grievous wounds. And finally, your last item, you want to go for something defensive, because at this point, Nilah is like hyper scaled into the game already, and you are going to be in an insane kind of position, right? So you normally want to go for something like Death's Dance, GA, Maw, even maybe Twin Guard, all these kind of defensive items. And then once again, since you're in the jungle, you want to go for First Strike. Let's take a look at what the top couple of players are building. So you have First Strike, Fleet. Now Fleet works fine in the jungle as well, but I like to go for Strike just for the additional burst damage when you go in for ganks. Now unlike Lane, you probably are not going to charge up your First Strike really quickly because you can only really charge it up during ganks. But of course, when you go for ganks, you're normally the first 1-2 strike, and you're normally going to be able to get this off, right? So since you don't really auto attack a lot, you actually want to go for Gathering Storm. Now you could go for Brutal as well. I think both are kind of equally good / bad. You don't really have an insane option here. Triumph is also alright. It's really just up to you, right? Then you go for Giant Slayer, Alacrity, same deal as usual, and Overgrowth. Now Overgrowth is just really good rune for any jungler because you kill so many jungle monsters, you can stack Overgrowth very easily. You get a lot of free health for a lot of free tankiness. Of course, for jungle, no real choice here. It's Flash and Smite. But with that out the way, now let's move on to looking at the gameplay. Okay, let's move on to the gameplay itself. Now, first things first, what I want to say is you guys are about to see some atrocious jungle gameplay. So just a warning, you guys are going to see it really soon. But I haven't played Nilah in the jungle for months, I think, because after the previous time where I played Nilah jungle, I started playing a lot of like actual junglers like Viego or like Jarvan, for example. Nilah is actually more of a jungler than an ADC at this point. I think for the most part, she's more popular in the jungle role. So you could say she is a real jungler, but I kind of don't know if she's really a real jungler, right? So now it's actually very popular for junglers to clear from blue side to red side. And the reason you want to do that is because red buff is very strong in the early game for the slow and for the damage, right? So you actually want to do red buff towards the end of your clear, because normally you're going to full clear the jungle and then you're going to gank. And here I was trying to kite the camp to the next camp, 33 health, and I didn't get out the last auto, and the camp basically almost fully resets. And that is, I mean, number one, that's embarrassing, but number two, it sucks because like you're gonna waste so much. Like I wasted so much time doing this. Like look at this clear speed, right? I've spent the first entire minute of the game clearing blue buff, and at this point in time, I think Kindred has cleared her entire red side jungle and is moving on to the blue side jungle, right? And there, I don't know why my Vex is in the blue side, is in the enemy blue side jungle, but she is going to pay for it with her life, right? So yeah, pretty poor jungle clearing by myself, and yeah, we're gonna be set pretty far behind, just based off our own mistakes, right? I think that's kind of the most annoying kind of mistake, which is that when you yourself make a mistake, especially if it's PvE, and you are gonna get punished for it directly or indirectly. Like here, Kindred basically is able to clear her entire jungle, and then she's also gonna be gets her mark on the skull. Is gonna get the other skull as well because I'm just way too slow. I mean, number two, I'm dying to the jungle camp. Look at this. I'm like 1 HP. Like if Kindred decides to show up in my jungle right now, I'm a free kill. But thankfully she doesn't. So I'm like wondering, like, whoa, did Nilah's jungle clear get a lot worse? Like it feels a lot slower to me, but I don't recall Nilah getting nerfed, or maybe it's jungle monsters getting changed, right? Because jungle monsters did get changed like twice since the last time I played her. So maybe jungle monsters got tankier or whatnot, but it seems her clear is a lot worse than what it was, right? Now, even be that as it may, her clear being trash, Nilah is still a decent jungler, right? Because you basically just want no action, you just want to clear your jungle, and then you just want to continue to clear your jungle and go for only opportunistic ganks, right? Like ganks that are very high percentage chance of success kind of ganks. And you're just basically going to be happy with that. Now, the next mark of Kindred actually spawns on the top side Scuttle, and she's going to be able to get that one as well, because she's already there, so there's no way I'm going to instantly, like, teleport there and stop her, right? So I'm thinking that she's missing, hoping that Vex tries to stop her. Unfortunately, Vex doesn't try to stop her, or maybe she did kind of walk toward that direction, but doesn't actually really happen. Now here at this point, none of my camps have actually respawned yet, so I'm kind of forced into either doing nothing or looking for a play, right? So here I'm going to check if there's any vision here, and turns out there is. Now initially I was only planning to just clear this ward. I wasn't actually planning to go for a gank or make a play, but Renekton walks to me. I have to make a split-second decision. I choose to go in on him, and my Ambessa follows up. Kindred is here as well and becomes an insane 2v2, right? Here I actually smite Kindred to get the kill. Kindred did not ult. I flash away. Unfortunately, Renekton flashes after me and kills me with the Call the Meek, but Ambessa is able to get the cleanup kill onto him, which basically means we trade positively, getting 2 kills for the price of 1. Of course, I was the one who took the death in this case, but you know, it's fine. Ambessa gets a kill, I get a kill, and Renekton as well as Kindred both die. Now, honestly, I think Kindred really messed up there. I used all my damage already, and I couldn't actually really find a way to kill her, but she didn't pop the ulti, so I just smited her for the kill. I think getting killed by smite is one of the saddest things ever, because, like, you know that the jungler has nothing left when they choose to smite you. And speaking of which, Kindred tries to come in to contest my Gromp, which is her mark, and we're able to smite it to secure, which again, I thought that she probably could have secured that, especially because I'm very slow at smiting because I'm not really a jungle main. But yeah, here I'm thinking, oh my god, the blue buff's gonna reset again. Thankfully we have the damage to burst it down this time before we get another embarrassing moment. But yeah, so now we're going to move on to clearing the wolves, and basically we're just going to move down to full clear. Now, Kindred Mark has actually spawned on the Raptors, which is actually going to be the next camp we're going to be targeting, so it's kind of very nice for us because we can deny that mark, or hopefully we can deny that mark. Kindred spotted in the mid lane, so we know she's probably not going to be able to get this one because we're going to secure it right now while she's busy trying to make a mid lane play. Now, to no one's surprise, she hops the wall trying to get the mark, but she has already used her mobility, right? So now she's stuck inside of enemy territory, and I'm going to leave Vex to deal with this one. I'm going to go onto the Yasuo. I'm dashing through him so that he doesn't ult me, and I'm actually doesn't hit me with the tornado, and we actually are able to, or rather Vex is able to pick up both of the kills, right, which is really good. Vex starting to snowball, and I'm just getting the assist, right? Like, honestly, with Nilah, of course, with kills is really nice. You can accelerate the game. With assist is just fine as well, right? Because after all, you know, by getting assist, you are going to, of course, be able to get gold as well, and of course, snowball faster. And of course, if you really want to think about it deeply, with every kill that you or your teammates get, the enemy team is off the map, means they can't farm, they can't get gold and XP, and they are just looking at a gray screen being unproductive. So in reality, like, you know, as long as your team gets a kill, it's kind of great. Right, so here, honestly, I was just thinking this in this match, right? Like, my Vex is really fed, my Ambessa is doing pretty well as well. Like, I probably just need to sit back and get carried. Like, I don't really need to do anything special. I just need to kind of just farm it up and not lose the game for my team, right? So my main goal at the moment, especially, you know, at this point, being quite low on confidence because obviously I kind of messed up my initial clear and I'm not feeling too good about myself throughout the whole game, right? So I'm just thinking, like, you know, I don't need to carry the game. I don't need to do anything special. Let me just farm it up and let me just not feed, right? So here I'm already on the top side. I'm going to go for the Herald. Now, honestly, at this point, Herald versus Dragon is kind of like a very even trade, I guess, because, like, with Dragon, like, you get a chance for a soul, but with Herald, you get to pop it on a tower, but there's no more tower plates at this point, right? And there is, of course, still first tower of the game, so it kind of does sort of semi-matter, but it's not really that big of a deal. And Vex it is able to go in, kill both the enemies, and then I can just swoop in and get the dragon for free, right? And not just that, but I'm also going to go into the enemy jungle, right? So I know I'm behind, but I still got the game knowledge, right? So actually, I'm not even behind, but I know I messed up at level 1, but I still got the game knowledge to know that I need to be going to the enemy jungle to deny the enemy jungle camps, right? So here, I'm going to deny the blue buff, and the Kindred Mark has spawned as well. So ordinarily, I would have reset after getting that blue buff, but because there's a Kindred Mark here, I don't want to have a situation where I reset and she just goes straight for the mark and secures the mark, right? I'm not going to give her a mark for free, right? So once again, I'm going to go grab the chickens, deny the mark, and the fact that she saw the mark disappear on the map means that she wouldn't know I'm actually here, right? But I really need to back to complete Bloodthirster, and I don't want to get into that mid lane fight without getting Bloodthirster first, right? So I got the Bloodthirster, and I'm rushing back out onto the map, seeing if there's a fight. Turns out there isn't, right? The enemy team is kind of just walking away, right? Now here, Renekton is going to collapse on Mbessa, which I do know, so I'm kiting over toward the fight as I'm doing the blue buff. Now it looks like the fight is going to break out here. I was still trying to do the blue buff, but number one, it resets. Number two, I really need to go to the fight right now. My teammate already secures the kill on Renekton. Now Yasuo under tower. Vex goes in, and I summon the Herald. Mbessa actually ults in, and actually the ult kind of caused me to miss my ability. But anyways, I'm able to finish the kill onto him under the tower, and just walk back out. In the meantime, the ensemble collides into the tower and helps us to secure it. Now I'm going to check Kindred's jungle if her Brit buff is up. It isn't. And here my team is whacking the tier 2 tower, right? And Mbessa in the meanwhile trying to trade for the tier 1 tower. And I'm going to leave my team to get the tier 2 tower because we don't need 4 people to focus the tier 2 tower. And in fact, they're actually going all the way to tier 3, which I think is not very advisable. In the meantime, I deny Kindred mark again. I'm just going to be AFK farming my jungle here. Whilst the 3 of my teammates are pushing down the top lane. I don't think that pushing down the top lane at this stage of the game is a very good idea. Because obviously there's always the concept of defender's advantage, right? The enemy team can just recall, run out of base, and stop you. So you have a very high chance of getting collapsed on by literally the entire enemy team if you overstay too far up on the lane, right? Thankfully in this case, that does not actually happen, and they are actually able to all escape with their lives, but they of course don't get the tower because I don't see how you would ever get a tower there. Yeah, but here now my team is in a very, very dominant position. We're over 10k gold ahead, so now they're kind of pushing the advantage by basically pushing onto tier 2 towers on all lanes. And this leaves me in an awkward position, right? Because I'm just like AFK farming my jungler. I'm not really doing anything. I'm just letting myself get carried. But then I realized that, like, you know, at this point I have like a lot of gold. Like if you look at the gold, I have like 7k gold, which is like more than anyone else on the enemy team, right? Of course, Vex is like near 10k gold. That's because she's 6, 1, and 2. But now I realize with 2 items with the collector as well, I might be able to make some plays. So instead of AFK farming the jungle, I'm now gonna start looking to make plays, right? So here, Mbessa is getting chased down by Yasuo. We're pinging that we're coming, myself and Lulu. Yasuo commits to the chase, but is not able to really get anything. Yasuo hits me with the tornado. I don't really care. I smite him just to slow him down, just auto-attacking him to death. And he cannot block my autos because I'm a melee champion. So unlike an ADC where he can block everything, his wind wall doesn't actually block anything in my entire kit. And I also have the W to veil his auto attacks. By the way, guys, I didn't actually point this out, but this is actually an insane Nilah game just in general, which is kind of why I picked Nilah instead of picking one of the other junglers that I play when I get autofilled. Is really because if you think about it, there's 3 auto-attacking champions. Now, of course, there's Samira the ADC, who's not really a pure auto-attacker, but is more so of a combo champion. There is Yasuo and Kindred, both of which are auto-attackers. And there's Renekton, who has a very key auto-attack on his W to stun you, right? So the Veil kind of counters majority of their team. Of course, Set is not really an auto-attacker either, as Yasuo's kind of getting caught up again. And it turns out Yasuo Windwall does block Nilah's EQ combo, right? So if you E and Q at the same time, you will of course be able to proc your Q on your dash, but turns out that gets blocked by Yasuo's Windwall, so never really knew that, so won't be doing that against Yasuo next time. Here's Set, just taking a lot of damage for free, right? Like he is, just taking a lot of damage for free. Unfortunately, Mbessa dies, but they use everything to kill her, so I'm gonna be able to ult and just run down at least the Kindred. Renekton, of course, a little bit more tanky than that, so I'm not gonna be able to run him down. But overall, I go unstoppable. Now 6, 1, and 3 with 3 completed items. Now, at this point, Mbessa is dead, right? Baron and Dragon are both alive. I don't think it's a very wise idea to keep on pushing. Vex is also in base, so Jinx and Lulu kind of need to run away. Jinx and Lulu not doing too well, but of course if you get to late enough game, it doesn't really matter. Also, has Samira been AFK or what, right? She has only like 3k gold, right? What's going on here? But anyways, I haven't been paying attention to what's happening in bot lane. I've had 0 interaction with them ever since they died at the early levels. As the jungler, I kind of want to prioritize the lanes that are winning, like Vex and Mbessa, and I completely ignore the bot lane, which is not always the right play, but I think in this game it is the right play. And anyways, here I'm just gonna go ahead and farm my red buff In the meantime, my team maybe is gonna do Baron. I think that we can just force a Baron at this point. I want to back and pick up my IE. Of course, 3-item power spike on Nilah is really the point where you become a super strong champion in the game. And unfortunately, Kindred kills Vex, but this is a distraction for the enemy away from the Baron. So I mean, team, I don't even think suspects we're doing Baron. So we get the Baron pretty much for free. And my team is now going to use that Baron to try to push down and, you know, get stuff done. Right, so instead of AFK farming, we want to be making plays, but I still want to get both of the buffs at least. And the thing is that Vex, our most fed member, is dead. So I didn't really want to walk up and do anything because I think that enemy team with 5v4 and without our most fed member could be a problem. But then I think to myself, you know, I'm fed as well. Look at this, right? I'm just whacking the set. Yeah, you know, just running him down like I can do this myself. I don't need Vex, right? I'm gonna go in, pop the ulti, bam. Yasuo for some reason runs out of the Kindred. Oh, I'm just gonna smack him. Kindred goes down as well. I pick up a double, and the whole enemy team is wiped except Samira. Samira can't really do anything about the situation, so that is going to be game, I think. Yep, actually they surrender, so it's gonna be game. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual, and goodbye.